Hello, everybody, and welcome back to M&J Games, and welcome to episode 13 now of Wildwinds. And before I get started building, I just wanted to have us kind of have a zoom in look at this because, man, I just love this flip cam camera. But I'm really happy with how this has turned out in terms of kind of creating that hill with the trees and stuff, because it really does, at least from reference images, give me a Wild Eagle vibe. And then you can see a little bit. Oh, that is really, really cool being able to see the Immelman right there. Oh, I did not even notice that. So it's really cool how you can see parts of it and stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and get started working because there's a couple things I want to be able to do before I have to delete anything else. And the next thing that I'll be deleting will be the supports on the hybrid coaster. And then after that, all that I'll have left to be able to delete are these two coasters. So I will see you guys after I get started working. All right, so this first update, there's not been anything necessarily major, but I'm doing an update right now just because I'm at 100% again to where if I place another piece, it's going to say I've hit the counter. So I need to delete one of these two coasters. And if I were to do this, you can see that that gives me about 6 to 7 more percent. Because remember, when you get to 100%, you've got almost another full percent before it actually reaches the counter limit. So we still got about anywhere between 11 to 12, give or take a little bit, because that could also be closer to 10 instead of 11. So still got some to play around with a little bit. And like I said, hopefully I'm hoping to be at about 6% by the time I get done with this last area here, because I've really done everything else over here. Nothing else to be done, because I want to do warehouse in here, and it's not going to be anything major, but something to kind of cover up that space. A smaller warehouse here, and I do want to do some more of like this kind of realism stuff. But I definitely want to make at least some semblance of a warehouse in this spot, so then I could have kind of a road going around the park, so that the entire kind of park is connected in a way. Like this connects. I drew this here because I think this would be awesome to make an office space, and so we'll see if that ends up coming to fruition. But definitely want to fill in here. And so what I've done, because now we see this deleted, I've actually placed lights, which are just floating in the air on both coasters. And I wanted to get those lights put up because I can't really do them after the fact. But you got the lights there on the lift hill, and so I think that's looking really, really nice. And I started working on this transfer track area. Nothing too crazy. Need to put fencing up here and stuff. But yeah, I'm just going to put a basic roof on. I'm not going to do the interior of it. It's not worth it for what we've got right here. And then for this transfer track, what I'll probably just do is create this as kind of like a covered awning, and have just a couple kind of cross beams or something going across that allows with the extra transfer track here. So it's not going to be anything major, just to try to save on piece count, but I do want to make sure that every coaster has a transfer track. And I do want to build something here. I don't know if I will, though, in terms of, obviously getting near the end of the counter. So we'll see. But I got to obviously finish up this bathroom in this little spot, figure out what I'm doing with this station and this station over here, and so forth. So I will see you guys after I work a little bit more. So quick update, as I had to delete the wing coaster to get percentage back, and we see we're now at 96%. And 91%, so I still got 9% left to work with. So I do think I'll be done with this area with enough time to have about 6% left to work with, as I've started placing some benches around. Still need to do lights and stuff, but that will come with time. I probably won't light up the park too much in terms of having it be, I don't know, because I mean it's, I honestly hate doing lighting. But yeah, so one thing I wanted to show real quick is kind of progress that I've made. And right here, just made the bathroom. Nothing too crazy. And then I love this station. I'm really excited to see how it looks now when the coaster's back in, back place, because this took a while trying to get it looking nice. And I'm going to try to find a couple pictures that I took of the Wild Eagle station that I'll put up here on the screen, just so you can kind of see the where I got the inspiration from, and not that it's the exact same by any stretch, but just where you can kind of see some of the kind of how I did the roof and different stuff like that. And so when you come down this way, obviously here's the queue, and then I need to put up a sign here that says right wing, left wing, and so this is where the normal way is to go up. And then this way is going to be the guests are not actually going to access this, but this would be the other way that you could go, which I guess I need to put one more of these up here because somebody could just jump over that ledge. This would be the other portion of the wing coaster. And so I had to create these kind of queue lines on this side to make it look like you've got two that are hopping on this way, two that are hopping on this way. Because with the wing coaster, you can't have four entering on the same side because you can't hop over the middle section of the train. It just doesn't work like that. So there's the station. Still need to put lights in there. Really happy with how it's turned out, though. A lot of cross beams. It took a while trying to make sure and get it proper, and then having beams kind of go through it this way. And I do like the green color. That's the color that the Wild Eagle station has. And then this part here, I was like, okay, I got this this part of this kind of hanging over a little bit, which you know what? Now that I just realized this, what I need to do is I need to, oh, hold on. There we go. Wait, did I do that right now? Hold on. There we go. Sorry about that. And I think I'll have to do it on the other side as well. And then I need to take those pieces and probably put them over there to kind of have them overlap that way. We'll see. But yeah, so I was like, well, there's an overhang. So obviously that overhang has to be supported. And then I put the post in there. Like, so for instance, this whole thing here was... So let's pretend. All right. So basically it looked like that. And I was like, I don't like how that is, but then I decided to kind of just create this little path covering here. And so I definitely like how that turned out. And then let's look at, so this is the exit. And you'll come down this way. And I'm not doing custom fencing here just because for the sake of getting lower on piece count. This is going to be the staff area, like that's where the maintenance area is. The transfer track, cars can drive. You can have an area where a truck drives in, same thing there. And then you got custom curbing going around. And we got a little bathroom here. And so part of this inspiration for this building was from Conifer Slopes with Mass Bandit, just for kind of the coloring and stuff like that. But I took some liberties on it. And then the last thing to show you real quick is kind of started trying to pave out where I would want the road, because I do want to build a warehouse over here. Like I said, it's not going to be anything super detailed. It's just going to be basic warehouse buildings to make it look like this park does have a warehouse. So that's the direction of the park so far. And I know we've got a lot of stuff deleted, but we can kind of see how much of the map we've used. So I'm really, really happy with how this has gone and stuff. And so yeah, I'm going to build a little bit more, and I will hopefully have this area done for the final update. All right, so we're here at the final reveal of the episode, and I've actually got a special guest joining me. It is WebbGaming. How are you doing, man?
I'm great, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing amazing, doing wonderful, and I saw you're on PlayStation. I was like, oh, I'd love to have you join me for this little bit at the end, as we kind of see this coaster I made a few episodes ago. But what I did real quick, what I wanted to explain is I put everything back in the park, and so it's going to be at 100%, but we're not completely done yet. And the reason is I wanted us to kind of get visuals of how this area was kind of turning out, and I'm really, really happy with it, especially seeing the coaster going over the top of the hill there. Oh, that's a cool view. So what are your thoughts initially?
Yeah, I mean, just straight off the bat, this park looks amazing. everything just looks so. The sight lines are crazy,
Yeah,
especially as you say that roller coaster going over the hill, the roller coaster in front of us, everything. The sight lines are just everywhere. I'm actually,
yeah,
I don't know where to look right now because everything just looks so great.
yeah. I appreciate it. Yeah, I was going for this is what I was hoping for, and I'm going to when I edit this right now put up a picture of Wild Eagle at Dollywood so that everybody can kind of see how I kind of got inspiration for this and for the station. It's funny, Jasmine the other day, or I guess it was earlier today when I was showing what I've been working on with her, and she was like, "And you say I make stations high off the ground? Is this station's pretty elevated?" Oh, I got to add a sign here. I keep forgetting to do that. Where I'm going to say right wing and left wing because since it's a wing coaster, it's got to have
Oh yeah,
a dual loading station, and so this would be the right wing, which obviously guests can't access. But I tried to at least give that illusion, you know?
yeah. No, it looks great. But
Yeah.
on going back to the subject of having stations quite high, I quite like the station being quite high. I don't know why. It just gives this sort of element of sort of towering over you, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
almost. I want to say intimidating.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not sure
totally
if
see
that's
what
the
you're
right
saying.
word, but I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just something about it. I like it.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I think for me, sometimes it's harder to like theme them up or make them look really nice when you've got this massive structure that you're kind of looking up at. But I do agree with you. Like a lot of coaster stations are elevated, especially Wild Eagle. That's where I got the idea for this station. But let me show you over here as well. So we got the hammer swing, which real quick, if you go this way, I mean, look at the view right there that you get. You know, you got the
It's
Giga in the
fantastic.
background, and then we got this um, the invert right there. So yeah, and then if you come this way, you get a little bit of views kind of in this area.
Get
Yeah,
whacked
so
by the ride.
yeah, absolutely. But I made a little bathroom back here, so nothing too fancy. Just trying to, provide guests with the opportunity after getting on that ride of using the restroom, and it's kind of
I
tough to
know
kind
it's
of
just, I know it's
go.
just a bathroom, but that building's really neat.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I'll make sure and come back and show it from an elevated view so that you can see it wasn't too bad. I kind of got the idea off of Mass Bandit on his Conifer Slopes Park. I was watching one of his episodes the other day, and I don't know why I randomly watched this one, and it had like a bathroom like that, and he was like, "This is kind of janky, but I like it." So I was like, "Oh, I'll kind of use that idea." Um,
Yeah,
but
it's
then
very neat. I like that.
then we got the RMC, and one of the best sign creators might be making me a sign for this. So I gave him the option and stuff, and he said he'll see what he can do, which hopefully something that can kind of fit in here. Um, but yeah, and so I tried to vary up the station style there. We've got a little bit of a. You can go in here and get your photos, although I didn't do what you do, and like you are the best at making the photo booths and stuff. So, oh, here's what I like: all perfect timing. So it's at
That
first
is
when I
brilliant.
At first, when I
I
made
love
this,
that lift up.
oh, thanks,
Those
man.
custom
Yeah,
supports.
yeah. Looking at Iron Gwazi, I should have only done one row instead of two, because they've only got one row going up. But it's literally the exact same piece in real life that's in the game that they use for these lift hill supports. Pretty crazy. So if we go
I
this
love it.
way,
It looks amazing.
thank you, and then we go up here, and at the end we'll take a ride on both coasters, just so we can then kind of get the full view of the park. But man, that's a cool view, isn't that?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah. It's like the camera in
That
flip cam mode is just awesome.
Yeah, especially zoomed in. I don't know why, but in Tipcam, when you zoom into something, it makes it look more realistic somehow.
Yeah, it's like it
I
adds
don't
a.
know how.
It's like something with the definition. It just adds more to it. It's really really
Yeah.
cool. And so I made an interesting kind of roof style here. And so now let's hop out and look at the some of the stuff from above like this. And so it's just took a fair amount of pieces, but it's just the metal fencing, kind of turned a
Oh,
couple
okay.
different ways. And
Oh, that's a neat idea.
Yeah, and so I got the idea from something on a No Name Landia. It's not the exact same thing, but they had something similar to that. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Just a way to kind of vary up the ceiling to the station. So I guess if it
Yeah.
rains, it's not very helpful because the rain would just go through. But yeah, and so here's the elevated view of the area, and happy with how it turned out. Down this way, like if you're walking up from the other view, you got the view of that first drop, which is just awesome. Um, got a little ribs place, and I put signs up that said good old Southern barbecue with all the fixins. So that's what we say in the South sometimes is that's all the sides that come with it. Some good barbecue. And
Very nice.
then an oddly shaped triangular building, but I think it fits with the kind of style.
It definitely does. I love your buildings. Your buildings, because obviously I remember when we first met. In all honesty, your buildings.
Weren't great.
How do I put it nicely? They weren't as good as they are now, but
Oh, dude, they were
you,
nowhere near as good as they are now.
you've
So,
come such a long way because your buildings are just spectacular.
oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, honestly, for most stuff now, I feel like I'm just not a very creative person. So I got to use like reference images, like see what other creators have done on PC maybe, and like this fence, for example. It's pretty basic if you think about the pieces that are used. But I was looking at a park on PC called Cedar Dominion, or maybe it was I was watching a Channel 5 thing on it, and I saw this fence, and I was like, oh, that's such a nice fence. But it's like just, stuff like that sometimes it's kind of hard to, be a little
Yeah.
more creative and how you come up with stuff. But yeah, here's the bathroom that I did. So it's you just got the coaster or thick wooden beams surrounding it. Put a little staff room here on the back. And then these are just thick wooden beams, and then the top two are just horizontal instead of turned on their side. So
Oh,
that's all I
that's
did.
really cool.
Yeah, another thing I've
I
started doing
really like
too.
that.
Thank you. Another thing I've started doing, and I'm gonna get a different on my next park. I'm gonna use a different kind of terrain for this too, but using that flower terrain, it kind of gives it the illusion, especially when you're looking like this, that it's actual mulch. So instead of
Yeah,
having to use the coconut pieces or the actual 4x4 mulch pieces, it kind of masks that idea.
yeah. No, it looks good.
Yeah. So shall we take a ride? Which one first?
Let's do the wing coaster first
All
because
right.
I feel like I have most anticipation for the RMC. So we'll save the best till last, shall we?
All right. So we're gonna ride this one time in front bumper, and then we'll ride it at. Actually, you know what? We'll ride it first time on the wing, which they're never as smooth riding it this way, but it's a wing coaster, so I feel like you've got to. And then we'll ride it at night once because I feel like this would be a pretty cool night ride. Oh, we're probably
Okay.
gonna hit that. Yeah. And I apologize if there's any clipping. I'll definitely change that. Now you've built wing coasters a fair amount. Like, do you find that they're tougher than other coaster models to kind of smooth out? Because to me, they're pretty
Yeah.
tough to get smooth.
Yeah. No, absolutely. They are because they're obviously quite wide. The coaster, the train itself, because they're quite wide. I feel like riding it on the wing is always going to be rough at
Yeah.
some stage. If you rode it in front bumper, you can probably get it smooth. But riding it on the wing, because of the way that the coaster moves about, it just makes it look like what's the word? Like jagged. Does that make
Yep.
sense? But yeah, they are. They're quite tough to move, especially with custom inversions.
Right. Yeah. So we'll ride in front bumper, and a couple parts that basically, I feel like I got pretty smooth, but not as smooth as some other rides I've made. But really happy with how this turned out. So what are your
Yeah,
thoughts about the coaster?
yeah. First and foremost, these wing coasters, they're always. Obviously, I know they're fast because they have to be to get around the track, but they've got a certain sort of pace to them where they really slow down at the sort of peaks of the inversions, and I think the pacing on this is perfect. Like the way it goes over the inversions and stuff, it's just perfect for a wing coaster.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, there's one
Um,
part here. It kind of slows down a little bit, almost too much, but then it picks it up a little bit at the end. Like
yeah,
right
but
here.
again, I mean, yeah, no, I can see what you mean, but I mean, it's not that bad. As you say, it picked up again, which is good. But I mean, especially with these in real life, um, I mean, Fort Park, for example, if you look at Swarm off ride, if you're standing in the plaza and you're looking at the ride, it looks quite slow. But obviously,
Right,
once you're on it, it's a completely different experience.
right. And while it's at nighttime, one of the things I'm going to be doing in the last episode is obviously adding lights because, as you can see, a lot of areas of the park aren't lit up yet. I don't know about you, man. I hate doing lights because I'm never at a theme park at night. So I'm like, I don't care to do lights, but I understand it's
Yeah,
a lot of people like looking at stuff at night.
yeah.
Yeah,
To
we're
be
going.
fair, um, with my current project, I have been focusing quite a lot on night lighting. I
Yeah,
don't know why. I've sort of found a love for making something look just as good at night as it is in the day.
yeah. Now, Corey, something I'm really happy about and proud about doing is this custom catwalk. Um, so it's just well, I guess I can't click on them. You just got some wooden beams there, the thick wooden beams making the actual catwalk, and then obviously got these cables going up. The tricky parts were just right here, trying to make it seem like it was leveling out appropriately, and same thing up here. But overall, it wasn't bad. The key was getting one section done, and then you just advance move it, save those two sections, advance move it, save those two, so now you got four, and it wasn't too bad.
Do you know what? I'm not gonna lie. It looked that good that I didn't actually realise it was custom.
Right.
Honestly, I thought it was just the normal track
Oh,
catwalk.
I guess. Well, then I did it. I
Like it
did my
looks
job
so
then.
good.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Thanks.
yeah. No, that's brilliant.
All right. So we'll definitely ride this one in front bumper, and at the end because I got a request from somebody to when you ride RMCs, ride them in
On the
and
back
wooden
row.
coasters, riding them on the back row, so you can really get kind of a sense of how the train moves. So we'll do that as well.
All right.
I think I actually showed you this the other day, didn't I?
I think he did, yeah. But I'm happy to ride it again. This is a great coaster.
Thanks. Yeah, there's two parts where now like I can't change anything to it because of having saved it as part of the blueprint, but there's one part that it kind of jolts a little bit as it comes out of an inversion that I didn't really realize that until now. Or maybe it's just that when you build a coaster, you watch it so much that you then start picking up on little things. But
Yeah, no, I understand that. I've done that myself before, but it's an RMC. They're always quite rough sometimes, so one little jolt's not going to matter.
yeah, yeah, that's true. It's like it's rough in a smooth way, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
and I like this little double heartline roll at the end. So there we go. So yeah, before we take a ride on it again, I'm just going to explain what I'm going to be doing on the last episode before the park tour and stuff. Is I'm going to be doing the transfer track right here, and then I'll just be going back and adding lights to stuff. I want to do some backstage stuff, so kind of like I did, over here to kind of start adding some stuff to the other buildings. And I want to at least put a couple warehouses in these two spots to make it not as blank. And then hopefully I'll have enough space to do kind of a bigger warehouse over here because I want it to kind of feel like everything's connected. Um,
Yeah,
so it's,
absolutely. I
so
love that
it's,
W8 with the rain gate.
yeah, yeah,
Just to
that's so.
remind you.
Yeah, just to remind me. And it's like, man, I just wish I had enough. I don't think I will, but it would have been nice to do like a staff building here, just to kind of round out the park. But we'll see. Maybe I'll have enough to try to do something. But because I should have about 7-8% left, based on my calculations. So yeah, is there anything, any feedback you'd give in this area, like any small things that you, maybe any feedback or anything like that?
Um, to be honest with you, I, there's nothing I can pinpoint. I mean, there is obviously little bits like maybe covering um, the little gaps in the pathways and stuff, but apart from
Yeah.
that, it's pretty perfect.
And I did not tell him to say that ahead of time. So, yeah, I know. I'm trying to figure out what I want to cover this because I don't. It was kind of like with these spots. I was like, I don't know what I want to do here, but I didn't want to just put rocks to cover it up. So I ended up doing
Yeah,
this fencing, and I didn't do any curbs with it because those would have been a nightmare with how this is sloped. So I'm just trying to
yeah.
think about how I realistically want this to look or what to put here. So I'm open for suggestions from you, Corey. I would say everybody, but by the time everybody sees this, I'll be done with this. So
I mean, maybe some sort of planter. Um,
yeah, that's a good idea. Like
yeah, I mean, I make my own
oh, I
custom
can't place it
planters.
now, but
Oh yeah, of course. But yeah, no, I make my own custom planters with certain blocks and materials, and then obviously fill it in with different plants and flowers and trees. But yeah, no, I think some planters might look good over there.
okay, cool.
It will
Cool,
separate the
cool.
path as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. So now we'll end this with writing this in. Um, let's see, what view do we want to do?
The back row. I think yeah. What's that one? Look forward. That's it, and then
There we go.
at the back. That's
All
it.
right. And so while I do this, I appreciate you, Corey, for joining me for this. Everybody, make sure to go and subscribe to Corey's channel and check out his current series, as it's fantastic. Which at the time of recording this, Corey, I still got to watch your video from today, so I will get around to that. um, man, this is quite rough riding it in this view.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why it was suggested to do it in this view because it never feels like a wooden coaster until you've ridden it in the back row.
I mean, that's true. Yeah, a couple parts I'm like, good gosh, it's. I mean, it is crazy though the difference in riding front bumper view compared to riding in one of these other views.
That's it.
So yeah, watching this, I'm like cringing. I'm like, oh, this is a rough coaster.
Whoever suggested this is a bad suggestion.
Yeah, I'm not gonna call them out for it, but they should. No, I'm just kidding. It's all good. I mean, sometimes it is like the camera too. Like maybe if we're actually sitting in it in peep view, it would have seemed a little
Yeah, that's
better.
true. That
But
is true.
yeah, well, once again, Corey, thank you so much, and thank you for joining me for this little bit, Corey.
That's right. My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, so as I said, links are in the description below. Make sure to go check out Corey's channel and check out his current series, as it's an amazing park. And thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next week for the final episode of the series before the tour. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Bye.